My name's Romeo Antonio. I am the executive producer of the Just Like Me video with DMC and Sarah Mclachlan. I just want to jump back a minute and just tell you how we even got to this spot. Steve Lobel walked in with DMC, and you know, I had met DMC in the past, not worked together with him, but I met him and I was a fan just like everybody else. And I walk up to him and I was like, wow, I'm standing next to hip-hop royalty. And I was like tempted to break out a piece of paper and a pencil and try to get an autograph, you know, but Steve was like, hey. I'm like, Steve, what's up? And he says, DMC's got this situation going on and he's got some records happening, and I think that you and him meshed together could make some great music to go along with this album he's doing. And DMC, Romeo, we met, we talked. This is just the nicest guy I've ever met. Just the kindest, just a beautiful soul for who he is. This guy's royalty. And you know, I don't know, you know, I've been around some musical royalties that aren't very nice. This guy is like the nicest guy you want to meet. So I talked to him. We decided, look, we're going to do a couple songs. We're going to do this, that. We're going to add this to this song, take away from that song. We're going to do some new ones. We're going to do this, that, and the other. And I said, great. We gave each other a hug. Boom. We started working together. So we have this incredible song. So D comes to me and he says, this is going to be like my anthem. If not a first single, then definitely a second single. So he's like, Rome, we have to shoot a video. And I said, okay. So I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, let me see. I'm new to the movie industry. A very good friend of mine brought me into the movie industry, named Mike De Lorenzo.
Romeo came to me about producing a music video, and I've never produced a music video. Romeo said that we worked on a few films together, and we have, and I've been around the film business for 28 years now. Longer than Romeo says he's alive, but that's not true too. But anyway, so I asked Romeo, DMC, my gosh, work with an icon. Who would say no to working with an icon like DMC with Sarah Mclachlan? And one of my favorite songs when I was young, Just Like Me, the Cats in the Cradle. And I said, absolutely, let's do this. And he told me the story. And first when he said to me about a music video, I said, a music video, cars, a hood, girls, and jewelry. It didn't sound right. Then he said DMC, he said Sarah Mclachlan. I said, how can I do this? Let me do this. And we talked about it. He talked to me about the song and the words and the lyrics and how it was about DMC's life. I said, Romeo, let's not make a music video about this. Let's make a movie. Forget the music video. Let's make a movie. He said, no, we'll make a video. I said, great, let's do it. And the song is long enough to be a small feature or a mini movie. What are we, 4 minutes and 45 seconds?
Yeah.
So it's a good size video. What's happened in the film world these days is you have a lot of cinematographers and a lot of great cinematographers and great directors that came up through the music video world that are now shooting and directing motion pictures. Well, we want to do it opposite. Let's make a film look like a video. Only one guy came to mind as the director. We got to get a young, hip director that understands how to make a film, which he's done before. Sean's directed several films and produced more. And he's also hip and young enough to understand what DMC is trying to say and relate to all ages, whether the kid's 13 years old or the kid's my age. And I'm over 40 or 30, I don't know. But anyway.
But still a kid.
But still a kid.
Yeah.
Right in here. Right in here.
That's right.
That's what my daughter told me. So I talked to Sean, and Sean came by a couple of days later. We hooked this up in 24 hours, Romeo?
Yeah.
I think he asked me and called Sean, and Sean says, let's get together. 15 minutes later, and I'm not exaggerating, 15 minutes later after Sean listened to the song, he had a concept. One thing led to another, and we shot our little film, and it looks like a feature, and I'm so proud. More proud of working with Sean and Romeo and DMC. You know, Romeo talked a little bit about DMC. Let me tell you about DMC. I live in Valencia, where Santa Creative Studios is, and where we shot some of this thing. And Valencia is a little family town, and DMC, Sean, Romeo, and I, we all went out to dinner in a little place called Valencia, at a little restaurant called Mojito, and we get mobbed. We get mobbed by people running out of their cars because there's DMC. There's DMC in the shell toes. Is that what they call shell toes? shell toes, his hat, and we're getting mobbed by by kids, by adults, by older people. DMC. I'm thinking, my gosh, I know he's an icon, but this was unbelievable. Am I walking around with Barry Bonds? What's going on here? Where are the Beatles? I mean, that's what it was like. I'm with an icon, and I'll never forget that. You know, I still go to that restaurant. They still ask me, when is DMC coming back? But anyway, back to the video. It was a lot of fun making. I made a lot of friends, lifelong friends. Sean and I are going to direct some more things together if Romeo lets us. And that's all I got to say.
Well, where to begin? First, I wouldn't be sitting here if I didn't have two incredible talents that believed in my talent, that I can expose something that, ultimately led to what this is, which is a music video that has class, that has character, that has story, that has meaning and depth. So I really appreciate these two guys giving me that opportunity. Just as important, DMC believing in me and giving me all of his personal thoughts and feelings that are very obviously important to him, and letting me run with them and let me manipulate them in a manner that hopefully will be on the air soon enough. Just like these guys said, call me in. We all conceptualized the idea that's on the table, and met DMC, which is an incredible human being. And I remember I had my shell toes on, and to break the ice with D, I had to throw them on, still have them on as a matter of fact, and had DMC sign them right there on the spot before we got into any business, because at the end of the day,
Forgot.
yeah. At the end of the day, we definitely wanted to conquer and accomplish something cutting edge, something definitive with the music video world. D really wanted to do something that meant something, and that wasn't a video that just showcased a bunch of flash and glamour. He wanted to do something that resonated with a lot of character and class for decades to come, because his message and his life is vital to the hip-hop world, because without him it wouldn't be where it's at right now. So he definitely wanted to put a mark that stood for decades to follow.
Back to talking about the concept, about making a video like a film. We had some major stars.
Gary Jordan, Clancy Brown.
We were really lucky. At the same time, working on this music video, we're shooting CSI, and Gary Jordan, who's a great musician himself, dear friend of Romeo, mine, and now Sean's, says, sure, I'll do it. What do you want me to do? How can I help? Get to work with DMC? I'm in. What can I do? When can I do it?
What can I do? When can I do it? We were trying to figure out, like, okay, we need some. It was Mike's idea. Mike said, look, if we're gonna make a little film here, let's put some stars in it. And then so CSI is up on this lot, and Gary Jordan I've known for over 10 years. A very good friend of mine. Before he was an actor, he was a singer, and that's how I know Gary, and very good friend. And so Mike said, why don't you go to your buddy, and why don't you get him? I said, yeah. I went to him, and he was like overwhelmed. He's like, TMC? Yeah, sure. Boom, boom, boom. And then Mike said,
No. Sean says
we need
somebody to play the doctor.
The doctor.
So we're talking to casting people. Who's going to play the doctor? Who's going to play the doctor?
Mike De Lorenzo's, at the time, all of his stages are booked with incredible
Hit shows,
TV shows, and Mike can get to anybody, right? So, and he says, remember the guy from Shawshank Redemption? I love that movie. And he said, remember the prison guard that you love to hate? I said, yeah. And he says, he's the star of Carnival. And I was like, oh yeah, that's right. And then Mike said, well, they're filming on my stage, and he's a good friend of mine, and I can approach him and tell him what happened, Mike.
So I asked Clancy Brown, Clancy, this part, we'll get you in and out in an hour, which we did. He showed up at noon, and we got him out by 7 p.m. So Clancy and I agree on a price that he would show up for the day. He says, well, Mike, do me a favor, don't pay me, make it to my favorite charity. And that's what we did, and Clancy again said he only had an hour, and 7 hours later we let him go home. And he loved working with Sean, and it was cool. What do you think of working with Clancy?
He's incredible. They were all troopers. Every one of them gave us their time, their energy. We had the conditions, like you were talking about, the weather conditions. We had issues at the location. Location double booked another production, so which dragged out all the schedules that we had with all the talent. and everyone was willing, all because of DMC, to go through what it needed to take to get the job done. So,
and not many. I mean, Sarah, who is just, I think, a phenomenal musician and singer and songwriter, was just all smiles. She didn't complain once.
it's cold.
It was cold. It was rainy.
She's getting on a steel gurney. All smiles.
Oh my God! From her trailer to the inside of the hospital to the elevator, because this was probably like the worst day of the year to shoot.
The wettest day in California.
It was
cold, rundown location, and she was all smiles.
All smiles, all sweet, and would you like me to do that shot again? And just such a sweetheart and a delight to work with, and pleasure to work with. So it was. We did have our trials and tribulations that day.
A couple other little behind the scene issues. But,
yeah.
Romeo ironed it all out with his iron.
Yeah, I had to pull out the old iron.
Iron.
It was good though. We had some friends show up to the set. Steve Lobel, who actually introduced me to Dee and made the situation happen for me. He showed up on the set with Lazy Bone and Crazy Bone, a couple of Bone Thug members, and we talked and had a good time with them. And Dee talked, and they all hung out, and it ended up great. And it was just a fantastic day, which was initially not such a fantastic day because of the weather, but it ended up fantastic.
And everyone, the crew, everyone, every time we turned around, a crew member was asking Dee for an autograph, from the grip to the electrician to craft service.
We shoot a 14-hour day in the rain, the weather, a lot of equipment in and out. We have 3 cameras, we have cranes. This is a huge day. 14 hours, everybody's dead tired. You think everybody leaves after 14 hours? No. Everybody hangs out. Please, Dee, take a picture with me. Please, Dee, take a picture of me.
Yeah.
14 hours later, an hour and a half after wrap, DMC is standing there giving everybody, let's take a picture together.
And I've been on a lot of movie sets.
It was one of those family shows.
Never seen anybody that sought after as a talent.
Or to stay an hour and a half.
And that willing to stay and take pictures with people and be so nice, and he's just very gracious.
Absolutely. And
remember the issue we had with the green screen? We had DMC falling through skyscrapers in New York, just falling through skyscrapers. So as you see in the video, we have to do this with CGI work and green screen work, and we shoot this on location, and then we got to bring DMC back to the studio and put him on a turntable, laying on his stomach, spinning him around for hours on end. DMC, no problem at all.
Didn't complain once.
Didn't complain at all.
Not one time.
Amazing.
He had a good time out of it. It was like a kid in the candy store. He was ready to get down, and we got down. And
it's the crew. You guys, I don't know. You guys came through with this crew that I've been.
You came through with the money. The crew was
Romeo
easy.
always used to play. Romeo writes checks, and he wrote a lot of good checks.
If we were watching the video, there's 1,000 things to talk about. Young DMC shows up. And at the end of the video, you see DMC and his son, and if that doesn't make you cry, you're not watching it. You really brought that up.
Yeah.
You see DMC looking at in his son's eyes and back and forth.
That was brilliant. Was that one of your edits?
That was one of my cuts.
That was brilliant.
It was
putting the hat on there and having young DMC put it on.
We wanted to. Yeah, I wanted to try to get since Dee was revealing himself and taking off that old image that everyone knows him by, that he's established by, how he's going to pass that torch on, and what a better way to conclude it and tail in it when his son is walking in his footsteps.